All right, we're back. Good morning, peeps. It's 9:30 a.m. on a beautiful Thursday, and today we're going to be making a video on my return to TBC in Project Ascension, my thoughts, and a breakdown on probably one of the most busted builds currently out right now. Now, before people start going for the jugular, this is not my build. I did not create this. I did not workshop it in any way. I did not theorycraft anything. Matter of fact, I want to shout out and give flowers to the man Chubis, who gave me some guidance when I came back, and he shared this amazing version of his build with me, and now it's what I use. It's a fairly simple build to use, with or without a cast sequence macro. It's got very good sustainability, and probably about 85 to 90% of all fights in Raid and Mythic Plus. It's got room for about 4 to 5 defensives with about 2 to 3 movement abilities. That way you keep staying mobile and casting while you're moving with the pack. Now, this is the Twilight Torture build. Now, again, I did not create this build. I did not alter it any way where I can call it my version of the build. There's not many differences in how you run this aside from there being a hybrid spirit version, which is the one I'm running, and then a full intellect build. Today, we're going to be breaking down the spirit variant, some of the abilities you should prioritize, gear you should look for, and what makes this build one of the best out on the server right now. So, first off, I just want to go over the talents, your main abilities that you're going to use, and you can also see this in the hero architect. All you got to do is type in Sinski's Twilight Torture, or just type Twilight Torture and look for my name, and it has I did not put my macro, but I put in the rotation very detailed on how it goes. I put in the weak aura, which you can see at the bottom of my screen right here, that tracks all my cooldowns for like my Holy Fire, my Glacial Fire, Exorcism, and even got Divine Protection in there as well. But this goes over everything. I have my gear that I'm currently using, enchants, gems, and then Mystic Enchants and all my talents. Now, I do want to make sure I emphasize there's not many abilities that you're using in this build. It's more or less about 4 or 5 abilities, and then being supported by a lot of buffs, having a lot of defensives, having a lot of offensive cooldowns, and a lot of movement, because this build, if you're standing still for or if you're moving too much, you'll see it eating to DPS a little bit, because they are hard cast abilities. They're not instant cast. Most of them aren't. So we have a lot of movement abilities. Like we have, I think we have Blink, Unchained Blink somewhere, if I can find, yeah, right there. And then we have Demonic Leap. The reason why I got Unchained is because you can still use it while casting. You can't use it when you're doing your Mind Flay, but you can do it while casting. So it's kind of nice. But defensives that I have for this build, we have Ice Block, Divine Protection, Divine Shield. We have Cloak of Shadows, and we have Soul Link. Don't think I have any more. I'm pretty sure that's all I got. The reason why I use those is because they're just hard invulnerabilities. I'm guaranteed I'm not going to die when I pop them, especially with Divine Shield and Ice Block. Cloak of Shadows is good because it drops threat right now for some reason, even though it doesn't say it. If you use Cloak of Shadows and you have aggro something, it will drop threat almost immediately. So just in case, you accidentally pull something with like your Divine Way or Duality of Sin stuff, which we'll explain that stuff later. It's just a good way to segue out of the aggro and get back to DPSing. Now, to support the build, we have Blessing of Kings, just so that we can get the total stats. We do double dip into stats because we're hybrid. We focus on Int and Spirit, mostly Spirit because we are Spirit targeted, right? A lot of our DPS is coming from Spirit, and there's a lot of gear that complements it as well, which we'll break down later. But we do have Blessing of Kings. We have Molten Armor to increase the crit rating. We also have Fell Armor to increase our hit equal to 5% of our spirit. So depending on how much spirit we have, the Fell Armor should do its part and increase our hit, which means we don't have to target hit as much in gear, which leaves us open to other factors like haste and crit. Now, there is 2 different ways. I've seen the Int people use Twisted Mind, and I've seen a lot of spirit-based people use Moonkin. I've seen spirit people use Twisted Mind, and I've seen Int people use Moonkin. No, I use Moonkin because of the fact that we do have improved Moonkin as one of our talents, which basically increases how much spell power we are getting from our spirit. And also, it's just really good to have for the spell haste. The more haste you have, the more quicker you get spells out and you get through your rotation, because the damage is pretty much all the same. There is kind of a ramp due to the duality of sin stuff, but the more haste that you have and the more smites that you're getting out, which is going to be the main cursor of this entire build, the more smites you get out, the more damage you're going to be pumping. It's going to be more consistent, so haste is going to be really strong. We do have divine spirit, obviously, to increase our spirit, and then inner fire, which gives us more spell power. And it's also really nice to have the inner fire too, because it kind of, our holy fire and our glacial fire kind of recycle those inner fire charges, so it's a constantly never-ending circle. Offensive cooldowns, we have power infusion, obviously to increase our casting speed. Like I said, haste is a very big part of our kit. And reducing the cost of all spells, which that really doesn't matter because we are spirit based, so we naturally have a lot of MP5. We have a lot of mana coming back into the bank. Arcane power, it's a given, deal 15% more damage. Divine illumination reduces the resource cost of all magic spells and abilities by 60%, increases the critical chance of holy healing spells by 20%. Now you're probably asking, why do we have that? Because we have Fury of the Light and Illuminating Light. Fury of the Light, while Divine Illumination is active, your arcane and holy spell critical damage bonus is increased by 40%, which is going to be really massive in your DPS opener. It's going to be super massive when it comes out in those long fights, because we are running 3 Mystic Enchants or 2. I'm running 2 of Lengthly Divine Illumination. You can run 3 if you have a lot of haste. You can probably get rid of 1 Purifying Power. I think that's what I was told. I think we had did the math on it. I think it's Purifying Power. You don't want to get rid of Fires of Vengeance or Fierce Mind or Hasty Exorcism. I would probably just do 2 Purifying Power and then 3 Lengthly Divine Illumination if you have a lot of haste. If you don't, I'd probably do what I'm doing. Have 2 Lengthly Divine Illumination and just keep the 3 Purifying Power. So we have Avenging Wrath, right? Increase all holy damage by 15%. That's easy money. Curse of the Elements, that's a given. Increases magic damage taken by 6. Just do it in the opener. You'll be good. Focal Point, don't forget to cast this on anyone that's going to be critting a lot. So other DPS people, even healers works. I tend to try and look for another Twilight Torture, or I do usually pick the healer, just because they're constantly getting crits in their stuff, and that comes back to me as 2% hit, so that's all good for me. Now the rotation, super easy. All right, I have it put in a cast sequence macro, but you can change it the way that you want. We're going to do 2 showings. I'm going to do these 4 targets where you're going to see the effect of Twilight Torture and the effect of the Holy Fire, like the Righteous Radiance stuff and Divine Way. You're going to see all of that and work with multiple targets, which is pretty much where this build's going to be preferred. It's kind of like playing Pure Shadow in a way, or like the old Holy Radiance build, except there's just a little bit more pump to it and it's a little bit more consistent. Not as much as a ramp for Pure Shadow, but there is a little bit of a ramp due to you having to get 42 stacks for Duality of Sin, which is going to be a huge part of the build. Which, by the way, there is a lot of talents supporting each respective ability and everything that you do. The whole entire build, like, just it's very talent dependent. So I'm going to be dropping a link down below that's going to lead to screenshots of my talents and my abilities. Like I said, you could also go to the Hero Architect, check up Sinski's Twilight Torture, bam. And now you have it. You could auto roll it, do what you need to do to get it. You have everything right there at your fingertips. So first off, I want to just go ahead. You'll see this in the Hero Architect as well. Obviously, make sure your demon's out. I choose Felguard. I like the Felguard. Honestly, your Felguard's probably not going to crit, but you might as well cast it if you're at the dummies. So just cast it at your Felguard, put down your totems, right? Because we have totemic focus, which gives you crit, and it gives you haste, which is going to be really good. And then opener, you want to do Curse of the Elements, and then you want to do Sunfire. What Sunfire is doing is it's putting Moon Touch, increasing by 5% damage. All the damage coming from you is increased by 5%, and your spell critical strike is also increased by 5%. Not to mention we also have Waxing Moon, which any non-instant spell cast, which is going to be 80% of what we're doing, it's going to add a stack of this. It's going to cause a chaos explosion, and it's constantly going to keep recycling and repeating. So again, let's reset now that we kind of got that through. So Curse of the Elements, Sunfire, Holy Fire, Exorcism, Mind Flay, Smite. Glacial Fire, Exorcism, Mind Flay, Smite. And you just basically keep recycling that Holy Fire over and over and over again, and it works like magic. Now, as you see, I've been going on for about a minute. We're still holding 200k and 4 targets, like I said. Super consistent. All right, let's stop there. It's about a minute 42. Let's just kind of look at the breakdown. Now, Twilight Torture, 316 crit, which is actually ridiculously low. In my part, I've been trying to focus a little bit more on haste, just to see if it has more of an effect on the damage, but I've seen people stack a lot of crit, or even just raw, just spell power in their gear. That way it doesn't, getting the crit doesn't eat up into the spell power stat or the primary stats that are actually on the gear. And they've been, I've seen as high as 380, I've seen 400, 500. I'm pretty sure we should be good to not be interrupted by hitting another target. So we'll just do the same thing. Curse of the Elements, Moonfire, Holy Fire, Exorcism, Mind Flay, Smite. Glacial, Exorcism, Mind Flay, Smite. And basically, that is the magic. This is just basically me popping cooldowns and stuff, so I kind of want to wait and see where it evens out. We'll stop around the 2 minute. All right, so we're about 15 seconds. We're about a minute and 48 in. We're sitting at 130k. I've literally been just sitting here, pressing my little cast sequence macro. 3, 2, 1, and done. All right. So about 132k consistently. So 132k DPS. There was only one target. Totems, doesn't really matter what totems you bring as long as you just get the Flame Tongue totem. It gives your intellect and increases your spell power. Gear-wise, like I said, I have it all listed in the hero archetype of what I'm using. You really want to focus predominantly on spirit. Anything that has a really high spirit gain and spell power is going to be good for you. I honestly, I don't think dipping into haste really matters as much as we think. I think you should dip everything into crit, anything extra. If you get a piece of gear that has a lot of spirit and crit, that's great. You shouldn't need to run a lot of haste, to be honest with you. Stuff that really catches my eye is the White Mend 2-piece. Increases spell power by 7% of your total intellect. Even though we do dip into spirit, these 2 pieces of gear, the pants and the hood, have a lot of spirit on them. And obviously spell power, we have a lot of intellect as well. As you can kind of see, like, I'm a little evened out. Actually, I was hitting those dummies without having my buffs on. That's comical. So, the White Men stuff even helps. If you do want to look at the Incarnate stuff, the Incarnate has a 2-piece that increases your spirit by 5% for the damage. Soul Color of the Incarnate. And if you're a little bit further along and you have these unlocked, or you're doing raiding and you want something to aim for, T5 pieces also have a really good 2-piece for the Priest Shadow. It is the Avatar set. Increases your spell damage by 6% of your spirit. which is amazing. Even the 4-piece is really good, but settle for the 2 because 4-piece doesn't come out till this Saturday. So this is just good, something that's good to aim for. It doesn't even have to be ascended. It could just be normal, and you'll definitely see results 100%. Other than that, that's pretty much the Twilight Torture build. Again, I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you made it this far, I know it was long. I just wanted to make a really thorough guide and kind of just let everybody know, you know, your boy's coming back a little bit. Again, if you want to see this build in game, Hero Architect, Sinski's Twilight Torture. I'm already getting whispers about it. It's a very detailed, in-depth, has the Mystic Enchants, has the gear that I'm using with the current enchants. I even say where I'm getting the enchants, like the Arcana of Power. I put Shatar Revered, put jewelry crafting stuff. Go check it out. It's definitely going to be super easy. Make sure you like the Hero Architect build, like the video, comment any questions you have, message me in game if you need help. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the build. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.